Okay, gentlemen, we're live here for our fantasy preview, week 11. We've got myself versus Reese, first matchup. I don't love my matchups this week. I think Reese has better matchups, definitely doesn't have better players, but with Saquon Barkley, Adams, and Rodgers all on bye, I don't really love my setup this week. That being said, um, Michael Thomas is going to eviscerate the Bucks because I mean he just does. He hung 35 on him, I think, a couple weeks ago when they played, and I don't think the Bucks have any answer for him. So I'm expecting Michael Thomas to do big things for me. Um, on Reese's side of things, I think he doesn't really have a viable flex play this week. Lindsey, Howard, Michelle, Fuller, and Hyde all have just nightmare matchups. So look out for that. That could be very helpful. But Lamar Jackson at home against the Texans, that's a bit of a problem. That being said, my bold prediction for this one is that OBJ, Odell Beckham Jr. is the highest scoring wideout of the week. And I'm putting my chips at the center of the table on that in a Thursday night game against the Steelers. So there it is. OBJ leading me to victory. Of course, Reese isn't going to win. I mean, come on, guys. Reese isn't beating me. Now, on to Power Belly versus the Flying Gimps. So Jared versus Tony Sr. Um, kind of an interesting matchup here. Mahomes is back to full strength and in not a very scary matchup on Monday night against the Chargers. You can't like seeing that if you're Jared, especially considering Jared's going to head into Monday night with nobody playing. So he'll be sitting there essentially watching Pat Mahomes and Keenan Allen, just hoping for the best and hoping he doesn't get enough out of those guys. I mean, how much of a lead would you realistically need to feel comfortable facing Pat Mahomes and Keenan Allen? I think to feel comfortable, you're going to need at least a 50-point lead heading into that. And I don't see it happening. I like Chris Godwin this week. Of course, all of a sudden now Senior has a decent running back situation because Steve's an idiot and cut Ronald Jones, who is an absolute solid RB2 play week in and week out, back-to-back 14-plus point games. Running backs in a Bruce Arians offense, they eat. They have fantasy value. Ronald Jones is going to be a solid player for Senior for the rest of the season. And it seems like this happens with Steve time and time again, where he winds up cutting guys that he shouldn't have cut. I mean, you're sitting there with two handcuffs on your team and you're cutting a starting running back. How stupid is that? Good God, man. So I like that on Senior side of things. On Jared's side of things, some ugly matchups this week. Kamara at the Bucks, and they're tough on running backs, and Kamara hasn't looked that great. Nuke at Baltimore, Nuke hasn't been that great. Don't love Jared's matchups. Noah Fant is not an employable tight end, by the way. He's just not. I know all these supposed experts are, oh, Noah Fant, he's great because he had a 70-yard touchdown where the defense missed 4 tackles last week. So, yeah, if you count on that happening again, you're an idiot. He had 3 catches that would have gone for about 26 yards, which is about what he normally does if they hadn't had that busted play. So I'm not counting on that. Bold prediction for this game is that Keenan Allen, who has not had 100 yards or a touchdown since week 3, does both of those things this week. Bonus, a big name player is going to go down for Jared because it's that time of the year and Jared's cursed. So that's how it's going down. I got Senior getting the W pretty handily, which is odd to say because he's in, dead last. But I got Senior winning this one pretty easily. We've got Tony Jr. versus Steve. Tony Jr.'s got a whole lot of questionable players on his team, that is. And I don't love Kenny Golladay facing Byron Jones without Matt Stafford. Yeah, I know Golladay saved his week last week when he got away with offensive pass interference on a 50-yard touchdown where he shoved the corner in the back and then just caught the ball, and they didn't call it. But, at some point they're going to throw the flag on that. So I can't buy into Golladay this week. Mike Evans gets historically shut down by Marshawn Lattimore. Don't like that play. Matt Ryan is not an employable quarterback anymore. He's just not. But Tony's got great matchups with Josh Jacobs and Christian McCaffrey. And let's face it, Tony's entire team is Christian McCaffrey. If he didn't have Christian McCaffrey, he'd be in last place. But alas, he does have Christian McCaffrey. And by the way, keep patting yourself on the back for not trading away the number 1 overall player. Great work. No kidding. I would also like to point out that your opponent's scores have absolutely nothing to do with your scores in fantasy football. It's not actual football, it's fantasy. So there's that. Now, on Steve's side of things, Melvin Gordon, James Conner, Tevin Coleman, that's a pretty good set of running backs, but Steve has bar none the worst set of wideouts in the league. DJ Moore and Courtland Sutton both belong in the free agent pool. I don't care what they've done to this point. DJ Moore hasn't really done much at all, and Courtland Sutton now has a backup. Well, I think third-string quarterback, because Drew Lock is typically the backup if he's not hurt. So they have a third-string quarterback there throwing him the ball at Minnesota. That is an unemployable option, terrible option. Steve has no idea what he's doing. My bold prediction here is that Darren Waller is going to continue to suck. Yes, even against the Bengals, his target share is going down. His air yards per game are going down every game. He's being used less and less. He's not surprising teams anymore. Darren Waller sucks. Also, bonus bowl prediction, James Conner won't make it through the game healthy because he never makes it through a game healthy. It was stupid to trade Chris Godwin for him. He's going down again. Jalen Samuels will be right back in Joe's lineup next week. Now, one more thing real quick. I just wanted to bring up that Tom Brady's not going to make the Hall of Fame. There's another bold prediction for you. And there's more and more you're seeing surfacing about how Brady might get Mark McGwired out of the Hall of Fame because of his checkered past. And obviously the guy is one of the biggest cheaters, and he's a human pile of garbage. I mean, you're talking about a guy that left his pregnant girlfriend, pregnant with his child, because a hotter woman came along. What kind of a man is that? I mean, Tom Brady is a typical Bostonite pile of crap. And he doesn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. Neither does Belichick. And you're starting to see some noise being made around about that, about the beat writers and stuff, about how Brady might not make the Hall of Fame. So just a quick point there. So next matchup we have is Joe versus Jason, the tax man cometh. I love the team name again, Jason. He's winning the team name battle, if nothing else. So, Jason's got some dream matchups this week. Tyreek Hill just obliterates the Chargers every week, but he won't be the number scoring wideout because it's going to be Odell. Edelman against the Eagles, who can't defend the pass whatsoever. Love the entire Jags offense this week. Leonard Fournette's going to catch a touchdown from Nick Foles. Everybody knows that. Little screen pass. Let Leonard do the work. That's fine. On to Joe's side of things. My God. Man, you're talking about a guy who scored under 40 points last week. I mean, how can I possibly pick you for the big? Oh, by the way, Tony Jr. is going to beat Steve. Sorry if that wasn't clear from what I said before. But how could you possibly pick Joe to win anything except maybe GD? GD being Golden Douche. You look at Joe's team, it's just a nightmare of guys that should probably be in free agency. Chief among them, of course, is Joey Sly, who I bring up every week. And by the way, since I told Joe to cut Joey Sly, he has exactly 16 fantasy points in 3 games. He's not an employable kicker. You got to find a better option. There's plenty of kickers that have had 16 points in a week. 3 weeks for 16 points, this guy's killing you. In fact, if my team scored less than 40 in a given week, I might just cut everybody and start over. You legit could have built a better team out of free agency. My bold prediction, though, is going to be that the Minnesota D is the highest scoring defense of the week. They're going to absolutely obliterate the Broncos. My bonus here is that Joe is going to crack 40 points this week. He's going to do it, guys. He might even get to 50. And for the love of God, please, Joe, if you're listening to this, please cut Joey Sly. You got to make some sort of effort to be competitive. Get him off of your team. Now, lastly, we have the matchup that absolutely nobody cares about. You got two guys that are definitely not going to make the playoffs, two of the worst managers in the league. Brad versus John. John's currently in second place, but I expect him to drop like a rock moving forward. You got Brad here who, basically can't be bothered to even set his lineup. Probably the least busy guy in the league, mind you. And can't be bothered. He's too busy posting recipes on Facebook to set his fantasy football lineup or playing video games, whatever the hell you're doing. Set your goddamn lineup, Brad. Your team's atrocious and you're an embarrassment to me. I put you into this league and you're embarrassing me this season. Now, I don't even want to talk about your horrible team, so I'm going to move over to John's side of things. David Johnson, in particular, awful player. I told you at the draft he was a terrible pick. I said nobody should take David Johnson. I don't know why everybody loves him, but he sucks. David Johnson sucks. And that's, in fact, my bold prediction is that David Johnson gets outscored by literally every other running back that started by any team in the league this week. David Johnson is going to be the lowest scoring running back, period. Across the board, there will be no running back started in the league that scores less than David Johnson this week, barring injury, of course. So any healthy running back. Now, there you go. I got John taking down the W. Of course, Jason's going to take down Joe, and Senior's taking down Jared, and Junior's going to take down Steve, and I'm beating Reese. There's your recap. I'll see you guys later. Good luck, everybody. But Reese, I'm going to kick your ass this week.